Dear 8th semester students, let us continue the discussion of important questions from rest of the module 3, 4, and 5. In the third module, you need to understand the difference between light circuit and power circuit. In the light circuit, what is the power rating? 800 watts, and how many points allowed? There are 10 points. Okay. Similarly, for power circuit, the 2 points with 300 watts. So that you have to differentiate. Now, in the third module, they mainly focus on the estimation of power circuit, especially the installation of motor, because the power rating is very high. You need to know the conversion also. 1 HP is equal to how many watts? Because in the questions and all, they mentioned about HP, horsepower, all those things. Okay. Similarly, one question you can see, what types of wiring commonly used in the indoor 415-volt electric motors up to 20 HP capacity? You have to mention about the various type of wiring, how you are using the wiring for the power circuit. Another question, the layout is not given. You can assume, you can prepare a layout. Okay, so based on the prepare a layout and single line diagram, and how you are actually arranging the power circuit for a installation of motor. Question number 3, list and explain the design consideration of electrical installation of commercial building. Okay, so what are the commercial building means auditorium, cinema theater? What are the precautions to be taken care, and what are the parameters they are going to take? Like that, you have to mention. Problems from the reference book 1, Rain and Bhattacharya. One of the question I identified from that particular question. You can refer that textbook of Reina and Bhattacharya. Found that is repeated question. In 2014, another type of question I noticed. What are the different considerations regarding motor installation? Okay, so while installing motor, what are the parameters to be taken? And there is a single line diagram which is given in the textbook. Such kind of questions, you can draw the single line diagram and explain. That is a lot more sufficient. Similarly, this is also one of the popular questions. So one room area has been provided for you. In that motor, you can see the motor. You can decide the location. Now, what are prepare the estimate of that? Prepare the estimate. In that, you have to calculate the current rating. Based on the current rating, you have to calculate the cable. So use the formula like a P is equal to root 3 VLIL cos phi. So power factor you can assume if they haven't given. From that, you can calculate IL. Based on the IL, you need to decide the cable size. All right. And you can go for a copper wire. You can go for copper wire. Similarly, another type of somewhat lengthier problem. Sometimes they may ask like school building, installation of school building. You have to prepare an estimate. Okay. So another type of question, installation of motor. There are how many motors are there? 2 motors are there. Okay. So how do you provide the wiring? So detailed you need to know, you need to learn how to draw the wiring. They mentioned about the connection also. Star delta, starter they are using. Okay, starters information, power factor, all the things they have provided. So it will be easy. Many things can be assumed. Similarly, another type of question based on the installation of motor. So better draw the layout because they haven't given no. So you can draw the layout. It carries weightage because they haven't given the layout. So another question number 9 is also same case. They haven't given the layout. You can draw it. Mention any 8 important considerations regarding motor installation. There are 15 checklists. In that, at least you can write 8 numbers you can write. Explain how the rating of the cables and fuse used for the motor installation wiring. That is similar kind of questions, which is actually a similarity of 10. But question number 10 is similar to question number 10. How will you determine the power input to the motor and the input current of the motor? I already mentioned one equation, right? From that, you can calculate the IL. So that is P is equal to root 3 into VL into IL into cos phi. From that, you can determine IL. Okay. Then another type of question based on the installation of motor in a particular workshop. Draw the layout, then wiring diagram. You have to calculate the length of wire. Based on that, how much wires are required. Then conduits are required. In there, some kind of checklist you have to follow. Explain the determination of input power, size of the conduit, distribution board, and main switch and starter. So popular questions. Question number 15, it's already, I have shown you the similar kind of questions in the previous slide. Motor installation, okay. So they have given the layout. Based on that, you have to do the wire up of that particular, do the wiring, show the how the wires are flowing, okay. Write a note on service line. What do you mean by service main or service line? Importance of service line. Mention the types also, if possible. Draw one single diagram. That means there is a wire which is connected from the end point of the utility to the beginning of the residential building. That is called the service line. Okay, the wire which is connected from the utility to the meter board. So you have to mention about the importance and significance. So write the reason for excess recording of energy meter. Mention about the creeping. Okay, creeping of energy meter. How to minimize the creeping. Nowadays we are using digital type of energy meter. There is no worry about creeping. So no worry about creeping and how to overcome the creeping. Similarly, another type of question, motor installation, very important. Okay, practice it. Find the material for one phase overhead service line for the house located 10 meter away from the pole with the following. Here, what you're supposed to do is you have to mention about all the materials which are required for the service line. Prepare a table. Then module for estimation of overhead and transmission and distribution line. Lot of theory questions will be asked because lot of the terms are also new. Try to remember all those things. Write a note on inspection of service connection, testing of wire installation, testing of earth continuity, inspection of substation installation. Name the various tests required for perform before connecting the new installation to the supply. Explain how the polarity test. Explain about polarity test. That's very important. Check the syllabus. In the many, I have seen this kind of question in the previous years, but we can expect similar kind of question for your future examination. What do you mean by insulation resistance of the insulation? Write down the formula how to calculate the insulation resistance, how to measure the insulation resistance. You can use the Megger and okay. Explain why switch is always connected the phase of the wiring installation. It is quite a common question. Even you can expect similar kind of question in basic electrical engineering also. What are the methods of installation of service line? Mention the methods and prepare the checklist. Mention the reasons of excess of recording in the energy meter. Repeated question. Explain the points to be checked while carrying out the inspection of wiring system. Then many new terms are there, especially for the transmission and distribution. Cross arms, pole bracket, guides and stays, clamps. To mention the some diagrams also. If you can draw the diagram, it is very easy to convince the examiner. Then explain the following in brief. Lightning arrestor, danger plate. What is the height you have to maintain the danger plate? Anti-climbing device. What is the material which is used for anti-climbing device? What is the importance of bird guard? How it is going to protect the electrical pole and wiring system? Explain the following. Muffs. Point to be considered for the erection of overhead lines. Procedure for fixing the insulators. Then prepare an estimate for the cost of running 50 kilometers single circuit 66 kV transmission line across the jungle territory using 4-legged fabricated steel structure. Here you need to know mainly the length of the wire. Based on this parameter, length of the wire can be computed. Rest of the material you have to remember. Similarly, prepare the detailed estimate of materials required for 80 kilometer single circuit 110 kV transmission line. Using legged steel structure weighing approximately 3 ton, assuming span between two poles are 300 meters. That is also similar kind. You have to remember the materials mainly. Do remember. Prepare the schedule of material running 100 kilometers single circuit 66 kV line across the single Ferrier crossing legged fabricated steel structure. Assume the span length is 300 meters. Prepare the estimate of material required for 11 kV bar 415 volt transformer center. You know, pole mounted substation, right? Which is nearby the roadside, which is mainly for the secondary distribution. So you have to prepare what are the list required for the pole mounted substation. This is very important. It carries the weightage of 10 marks. Easily will be getting if you prepare the checklist. Okay, no need to have a calculation. Do remember all the material, serial number, then specification, quantity, items, everything you prepare the tables. Similarly, another type of question, a 11 kV line is tapped and extracted to the distance of 7 kilometers. Prepare the list of material required for tapping, extending 11 kV lines of 85 meters. That is also another type of question. Similarly, there is another problematic question, 11 kV line to be extended over 6 kilometers. The line crosses a river, telephone line, 66 kV line on the road. List the quantity of material. Anyway, all the materials are same only, but the length will be different. That requirement of conductor, that is different. Draw and explain the typical AC power system. power generation, then power transmission. Power transmission is divided into primary transmission and secondary transmission. Power distribution, primary distribution, secondary distribution. Mention on the all the ratings appropriately. That is required. And a single line diagram. Estimate the quantity of material required for 132 kV substation. That is also quite easy. You can remember. Write a note on conductor erection. What are the methods to be adopted? Explain the procedure for estimation of high tension line for the distribution line. That is also theory questions. Then explain the following: cross arms, guys and stays, lighting arrestor. Mention the types of lighting arrestor. Mention the specification. So 11 kV transmission line, overhead line. What are the specification to be followed? Prepare a checklist. Okay. These are the important questions from module 4. Most of the questions are theoretical based. You need to remember the material, muff, then cross arms, bird guard, all the things. Likewise, lot of technical terms are there that you need to remember. Then question number 5, module 5, estimation of substation. That is also purely theory based question. List the material required for 66 kV substation, 66 bar 11 kV substation. Write a code practice related to substation. Okay, you have to follow the rules and prepare the checklist. In a textbook, you can see a table. They've made a table. They directly give the specification. Same thing you can remember and write. Define substation. Explain the classification of substation. Okay, converting substation, step-up substation, step-down substation. Likewise, there are a lot of criteria. You mention the criteria. Accordingly, you have to divide. What are the types of frequency-based substation? And list the materials used for substation and mention the specification. Any substation, 11 kV substation is also okay. 33 kV is also no issue. So there is one problem. Refer the textbook of J.B. Gupta. That is repeated. I found that is repeated. Draw the estimate the material required for 66 bar 11 kV substation. Get the details. Feeder details are available. Okay. Then what are the purpose of providing the substation earthing system? Okay. You have to mention about touch potential. Okay. What is the meaning of test potential? That you have to mention. Draw the typical single line diagram of a substation. Okay, no issues. You can write. What are the important components of substation? Circuit breaker, isolators. Okay, different type of switch gears like a circuit breaker, isolators, all the mention all the type of switch gears. Then transformers. If you talk about the transformers, you have to mention about purpose. Okay, then all the efficiency. If you talk about a distribution transformer, explain the methods of substation grounding. So there are different methods available. Okay, describe briefly equipment must be available in the substation. The different tools and equipments. Prepare the list of material required for 400 kV indoor type transformer. So a lot of materials are there for this type of substation. Write a note on substation auxiliary supply. Especially some DC power supply battery bank is required for the substation because to provide the lighting purpose. Okay. Also some backups are required. Estimate the quantity of material required for 33 kV grid connected substation. So these are the important questions from module 3, 4 and 5. A lot of theory questions are repeated. If you focus those theory questions, obviously passing is not a big deal. So you have to get a very good score. Since it's an elective, you need to have a very good score. That is the ultimate agenda. Okay. So try your level best. Take care of those questions and prepare very well and refer those mentioned textbooks. You will be getting so much of information. If time is very limited, means at least you can refer some VTU notes. Even I too have prepared the notes on the subject estimation and costing. So I'm very happy to, I would like to appreciate you for listening patiently. Thank you for watching this video. Good luck for your examination. Thank you.